Hello there, guys, and welcome back to my channel for my private therapy session, which I very much so need this week. I'm struggling. Everything's just going against me. But yeah, we've not had a good week at Chelsea. We've not had a good day at Ferrari either. I'm fuming. Yeah, Rüdiger. It's a topic and a half, that is. I mean, I said it in our group chat earlier. He's like a soap opera character. But first, the media make you hate him, then they make you love him, then they make you hate him. Question is, will we love him again? I don't know. I'm not saying I hate Rüdiger now. Don't twist my words, please. But yeah, it's a bit of the last couple of days have been a bit mad. I mean, yesterday, it was initially exclusive by Nathan Gissing, or otherwise known as CFC News page, working for Di Marzio, of course. It was revealed that Antonio Rüdiger was very close to an agreement with Real Madrid. Most of that was found after we actually beat them 3-2 at the Bernabeu 10 days ago now, ish, is it? Something like that. And we was all kind of losing our shit yesterday already. But I still try to be positive. It's like, yeah, I understand. Maybe he wants to get an agreement done just in case the whole Chelsea thing doesn't come true. But if the Chelsea ownership gets done and then we actually offer him a proper contract, then he'll stay. I was still keeping that hope. And then today it comes out by Matt Law, by the Telegraph. No, Antonio Rüdiger has decided to leave Chelsea. It's just about where is he going to go, but most likely Real Madrid. And then it got topped off even better by Matt Law, and then furthermore also the Athletic and Simon Johnson, saying that Chelsea did actually offer Antonio Rüdiger a contract not long before Chelsea, or Roman Abramovich rather, got sanctioned. Since then, of course, we haven't been able to improve any bids or whatever, or make a new contract offer. The interesting bit is that apparently this contract offer that we offered to Antonio Rüdiger was worth £230,000 a week. As reported, his demands were £200,000 a week. So apparently we went 30,000 over that. And he still said no. Reasons for those. We also included a signing on fee. I'm not sure if we included an agent fee, and I don't know how big the sign on fee that we offered was. But apparently one of the stumbling blocks was that his agent wanted a £10 million agent fee. And they also wanted a £10 million signing on fee. So I'm not sure whether he actually agreed to the 230 itself or not. There's a report from Christian Falk, which I found from March, actually, mid-March, early March, in which he actually reports that Rüdiger has found an agreement in terms of wages, but there's other things that still need to be sorted out. And then obviously we were sanctioned, so we couldn't sort those out. Yeah. Don't know what to think, really. We're screwed, is what we are. Christensen's leaving. Rüdiger's leaving. Maybe Aspie's leaving. I mean, I feel like we have to force him to stay now. Obviously, he has a contract. He has that 1-year extension that got triggered by him playing a certain amount of games this season. So I feel like we just need to force him now. Sorry, Aspie. You can go next year. But my days, what even is going on? Like, we was all fuming at the club, and why didn't you get everything done earlier? And then we find out we offered him what he wanted, and he said no, and now he can't wait for the owners. Obviously, I understand the whole waiting for the owners process is a bit difficult because no one has given him any assurances by what time, by what date the takeover will be done, and whether then the focus will be on his contract. Obviously, I would personally assume that a certain amount of focus will be on that regardless of whoever takes over the club once it's done, because, well, also the new owners need to figure out, do we need to sign 2 more centre-backs or just 1 more? So, whether Rüdiger gets a new contract or not is very relevant to everyone, right? And that's not even to mention the fact that Arsenal beat Man United, meaning United will probably beat us on Thursday because we lose against everyone that is in awful form. And Arsenal now 2 points behind us. Sure, we have some game in hands, but still, my days, I am so annoyed. I am so annoyed. Pice. Did I summarize all the news? Or is there anything I missed out on? And if I didn't, what are your thoughts on the situation, man?
I don't know what to think, honestly, because initially I thought, well, Marina's just fucked up. She's not offered. We could have got this done before the sanctions. She messed about with the offers, and Rudiger's now leaving. Then I thought, well, Rudiger should just wait until the new owners come. And then I thought from his perspective, well, why would you? Because you've waited long enough. And then, to top that all off, like you said, the reports came out that he'd already been offered £200,000 a week. Not even 200,000, £230,000 a week, if you believe The Athletic. And Matt Law said more than 200 actually, so it probably is still 230. Matt Law was probably just didn't have the exact figure, and Simon Johnson does. But if that's to be believed, personally, he can go. As well as signing on fees, agent fees, I'm sorry, but Rudiger wanted £200,000 a week. That was what was reported all along from The Athletic for months. I think we offered him 140, 170, and then it was getting closer, wasn't it? And then the sanctions hit. So I don't know what to think. I don't know whether to be mad at Rudiger. I don't know whether to be angry at Marina. I don't know whether to be angry at the government. I don't know. I don't think we'll ever know, because if Rudiger has rejected this a massive amount of money, then I'm just like, well, I'm angry at Rudiger. I feel like the board have done everything they can. But if this is like what I was saying earlier, why has this come out now? Why, if he rejected 200,000 plus a week, why did that not come out back then when he supposedly rejected?
But like I said, Christian Falk did report that they found an agreement on wages, but everything else they have still massive disagreements on. And that was in March. I guess none of us just took it seriously enough because, well, it's Christian Falk, and with him, you never know.
Like, how are The Athletic and Matt Law sitting on this bit of information saying he rejected this huge contract, and then all of a sudden, when he's leaving, by the way, he rejected this. We're like, what? Like, is this a PR stunt? Is this club trying to save face to act like they try? I don't know. Like, we'll never know. We'll never get the true answer. Like, who do you believe here? Like, I found one of my old tweets as well, because I was searching through a bit of information trying to find like what I'd posted on Rudiger, and so I think Sami Mokbel as well, who's like very, very good from the Daily Mail, said he did reject a 200,000 offer, and that was a few months ago. So I kind of think it's true that he did reject this, but again, that would kind of be assumptions from my end. I can't lie, because I'm not in the boardroom, so I don't know what to believe, to be honest, Laurenz. I don't know what can the new owners realistically change this? I don't think so. I hope so, but I don't think so. We're fucked. We're fucked. We've got.
The question is, what I'm not sure about: do I even want the new owners to change it? Because how much more further up his arse do we want to, go?
If he's rejected like 230, I don't want to give. I'm sorry, I love you, Rudiger, but you're 29 years old.
Yeah.
Like relax a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous.
Like we can't be mad at Christensen. He went back on his verbal agreement. He's changed his demand. We can't be mad at him, but not be mad at Rudiger, because that's what it looks like. That's what he's done. Even if we think the board should have done better, and we think that on Christensen as well. If he's gone back on his word, I'm fuming.
It's the same. Yeah, it's the same as Christensen if he's gone back on his word, because they originally, supposedly getting closer to agreements with both of them, right? Christensen was getting closer, had an agreement. Oh, now he's going to change. Oh my god, it's so annoying. Like you said, two bloody centre backs in the side, potentially 3 defenders, when we've got the other areas that. Like, we need to improve. We need to improve the midfield. We need to improve the forward line. Like, it's just another thing I was thinking about as well. Like, it's because obviously the sanctions came in. Like, how much money are we going to have in the summer? Because the revenue's been stopped from like games and things like that. Like, what? I'm just really worried. And topple this up with our shit performances on the pitch. It's a horrible time for Chelsea and the fans at the moment. That's why we're all so down. Like, what is to get us up right now? A win tomorrow would be nice, but
time of our lives compared to now, man.
But that sums Chelsea up in a nutshell. You can go from being on top of the world to in a fucking sinking ship in 10 minutes. That's what Chelsea's always been like. It's up, down, up, down. Like, it's
no matter what happens. We win the league, we come 10th. We win the league, we come 5th. We win the Champions League, we have a new fucking owner. All of our players are leaving, and everything's down in turmoil. Like, what is this?
We have a fucking amazing defence last season that won the Champions League, and now half of them are leaving. Like, what do we do?
Like, half of them are playing shit anyway.
It's a fucking joke. I don't know what. I'm just.
Not Rüdiger, mind you. Not Rüdiger who's playing shit. He played shit against.
But that doesn't make sense to me either, though. If this report, right, is to be believed that he rejected that offer. All this time, he's been playing like he's staying. Like, give me that contract. Like, he's been given it all. He's been a top professional. But if he's already made his mind up that he's not accepting that contract that he supposedly wanted, like, I just don't get it. Like, fair enough if you're playing great for the club anyway, but like, fuck off if you don't want to stay here
And
anyway.
he clearly hadn't informed the club about this, because it's what, 10 days, 2 weeks ago, since Thomas Tuchel said he's still confident Rudiger will stay. So he's clearly not being told by Rudiger that he is not a fan of this.
That's a great point as well. I'm very worried because you see it as well. Like, I bet Tuchel doesn't even know about this. The amount of times, right, that they've gone,
I'm sure, but
they've gone into a press conference though, and they've been like, "Oh, did you know about this? Did you know?" Tuchel goes, "Oh no, I'm not aware of that. I don't know." Like, is he even informed what's happening? Like, it's just fucking. It seems like a right old mess at this fucking club, honestly. Like,
it really does, mate.
Joke.
It really does. Let me get to the super chip. But NPE 94, appreciate the £5 donation a lot. He says, I don't get why we sold Gueye, Zuma, and Tomori without having the long-term futures of Andreas Christensen and Rüdiger sorted. It's going to cost a fortune to fix. And on that very note, I'll go to you, Charlie, in a second, because that's kind of the point you were making earlier in the group chat. I mean, I will say Tomori is a little bit of a slightly different one, because obviously we agreed to loan him out with an option to buy in January. So that was done when Lampard was still in charge. So everything was very different then. Obviously, you could have a go at the club, but everything was very different then. Zuma is actually a good point. I've not even heard anyone talk about Zuma. Now, if Zuma was still here, people would just be putting him in one of the, in the bracket of players that we want gone anyway. So I'm not sure that would have changed much. Mark Gueye, who knows how that would have gone? I mean, there's some players that don't think Chalobah is good enough. Is Gueye better? Is Chalobah better? Who the flip knows? I mean, I don't know. I hear Charlie's argument. Obviously, you can elaborate on it in a second. But he essentially said, yeah, but why didn't we get it done earlier? Why did we even let these contracts get into their last year? Which I understand. Obviously, with Rudiger, you have the problem that, well, before almost that last year, Frank Lampard had him sat on the bench and Rudiger was wanting to leave. Now, then obviously Tuchel comes in, everything changes. But then we're in a situation where by then, Rudiger had a spell of, depending on when you would have wanted it before last summer, before the Champions League, a spell of 3 months in which Rudiger was playing well. On the basis of just that, you're not going to offer him huge wages, just because at that point, it would have only been 3 months of good performances, right? Then you get to the Champions League, which obviously we win that. He plays, I mean, Germany didn't do too well in the Euros, but still, he was one of the mainstays in their team. So he plays reasonable Euros as well. And then we start offering him a contract. Of course, we start with 140k, ridiculous, especially when we know that Ruben and Kepa on 150 and we offered Rudiger at 140. I mean, that's stupid. But now that he's rejected it now, who's to say that he wouldn't have rejected the same offer last summer? But even then, though, I will say one thing. If he would have rejected 230 last summer, then at least we could have sold him last summer and made some money. Because now we're losing a 60, 70, 80, 90, whatever million he's worth for free. This is mental. And that's one other thing that triggers me about this Rudiger situation. If he was, like, all we've been told for the last year is that Rudiger actually wants to stay. I'm like, do you now? Because, I mean, apparently your demands were 200,000. All of a sudden, you reject 230,000. So, did you want to stay? Apparently, the fans always chanting his name meant so much to him. Did it now? Because you're putting this club that you apparently care so much about in deep shit, man. Because we're already having to get new owners. We already need to sign about 5 players. And now you're leaving for free. Then we need to replace you and don't even get money for you. So at least that's the criticism I have to the board. If we offered him the proper contract straight away last summer and he would have rejected it, at least we could have pulled the plug straight away, sold him, gotten Koundé in. And it would have been not ideal, but better than it is now. But I still think, obviously, we don't know for sure whether the reports were true that he wanted 200,000. But why would they be wrong? Like, why would all the reliable sources report something completely wrong for what, 6, 7, 8, 9 months straight? Why would they get that wrong? That's unlikely, in my opinion, especially as Rüdiger was working that PR machine anyway, and you could hear everything coming out. Like, you could hear their talks with Barcelona. We know about the interest with Real Madrid. And apparently he cooled the interest, or Real Madrid cooled the interest in him because his wage demands were too high. And now he's apparently lowered his wage demands. I don't even know what to think anymore. But, so Charlie, answer kind of your perspective on all of those things, and then maybe try to include kind of NPE's question here if you think the Gueye, Zuma, Tomori's are part of the problem here too.
Yeah, no, for sure, mate. I mean, obviously, it's disappointing. You always want your best players to stay. And it's going to be a big hole to replace. And like you said, mate, it's not the fact he's leaving. It's the fact with like Christensen, we could be getting 50, 60 million pounds. We could be getting 100 million pounds for those two centre halves, and we're going to get nothing. That's one of the main big problems. I've got no problem with players that are out of contract wanting to move on. That's fine. It happens. People make different decisions with their careers. It's cool. It's not a big issue. The big problem for me is that, don't kind of come out and say, oh, you want to stay, you love the club, etc. And then knowing full well that you've got no intention of signing a new deal, or you've turned down the offer that's on the table, which is above and beyond what you wanted. We don't know what the situation is with that. We don't know when he rejected it, if this 230k was actually offered or not. But if we're being honest, people have changes of heart, He would have been speaking.
Sorry to interrupt you. You're right. We don't know. Theoretically, we could have also offered him 290. We don't know.
Yeah. Like we could have offered any contract offer on the table. But going back to what you said, mate, like for me, when you allow top players to enter the final 12 months of their contract, you're playing with fire, because you know that they're going to be going and speaking to other clubs. They're going to find out exactly what they can get elsewhere. And then they're going to come back to the table at Chelsea and be like, right, so Madrid are offering us X, PSG is offering me this. We're off, like X club is offering that. What are you offering me? So like you automatically, as a negotiating club, you're putting yourself on the back foot straight away, because the ball's not in your court in regards to negotiating that contract. So like for me, Rudiger, and also there's the flip side from the club's perspective as well. Don't get me wrong, Rudiger is a phenomenal centre-back. But let's be honest, he's been at Chelsea since Conte signed him from Roma. For how much of his Chelsea career has Rudiger actually been good? Really, only since Tuchel coming. Let's be honest.
A year and just over a month.
Yeah, precisely. So from the club's perspective, you can understand why you're thinking, hang on a second, 29 years of age, going to be 30, offering a big deal to someone who's 29 turning 30, on big wages, could get injured, could go to shit or whatever. That's not really forward-thinking planning. There's no guarantee that if we bought in a holding midfielder in the summer and we switched to a 4 at the back, even though Rudiger's played quite well in a 4 at the back under Tuchel, would we be getting the same level of performance? We might not. And then you've got the issue of, oh, well, we've got a defender on massive wages and he's not performing to the level we thought he was. So I can understand that trail of thought from the club. But at the same time, if you really want to stay, then you should have signed. Like, you should have signed. And this should have been dealt with. As I said in the chat earlier, it should have been dealt with a long time ago. Like, at the end of the day, as a club, if you're going into last year of your contract, we should have been thinking about this last summer. Like, right, Rudiger, you're entering the last 12 months. What are you thinking? Do you want to stay? This is the offer we've got on the table. If you don't want to sign this deal, we're selling you. Because now we're in a situation where, like the super chat said, this wouldn't be as big a problem, Rudiger leaving, if we'd actually planned. Because we don't seem to plan as a club. We got rid of Tomori. I understand the Tomori thing was under Lampard, but like that move was sanctioned literally a couple of days before Tuchel come in. Surely we could have just why don't we just hold that back, see what the new manager thinks?
Don't give them an option to buy, man.
Exactly. Because now Tomori's like a 50, 60 million pound centre back. So like the biggest issue for me is a lack of planning. Last summer. We had a shit window. I'm sorry. It was dreadful. Awful window. Why are we fucking about not getting Koundé
signing
done?
Is fucking Marcus Bettinelli, and that's it enough.
Why are we pissing about with Koundé? Why are we bottling it on Hakimi? Why are we selling Livramento, Gehi, Zuma, etc., Tomori? Why are we doing all that, knowing we're going into the season with an aging Thiago Silva, who next season is going to be 38, is not going to be playing every week.
At the time, he didn't even have a contract either, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
He extended in the meantime.
And then we got Rudiger in the last 12 months, Christensen in the last 12 months, and Aspie in the last 12 months. Now, we're facing a situation where we're now we need to rebuild the whole back line, pretty much. And it's for me.
Going to a back 4 easier because it saves us buying one defender.
Well, yeah, but the big problem for me is not the fact that Rudiger's leaving. Yes, that's disappointing, but this happens. Players come and go. They're well within their rights to do whatever they want with their careers. And if he's been offered more money somewhere else, or he wants to go to Real Madrid and they're offering slightly less, it doesn't matter how big a football club you are. When Real Madrid come calling, it's very difficult to say no. I think the reason why fans are angry is because of the comments you say beforehand, like that you love the club and that you want to still be here. And then it turns out that, well, how much did you really want to be here? But for me, my main issue is with the board and the planning of transfers, and the fact that Chelsea, for the longest time possible, is always reactive in the transfer market, never proactive, never looking at the big picture, never thinking 1 or 2 seasons ahead. Like, I hate to use Liverpool as an example, but that front line of Salah, Mane, and Firmino, like those guys, some of those guys come to the end of their contract, they're phasing them out. But they've already bought players in like Jota, Luis Diaz, the Carvalho from Fulham. They've already got the next guys in there to take over when those guys move on. Why are we not doing the same? Why are we waiting till everyone's out of contract and then thinking, shit, we've got no defenders and now we need to go and buy 2? So for me, my main issue is not that Rudiger's leaving. It's disappointing. It's the planning from the board. It's honestly, it's disgraceful. It really is. How can we be in a position now going into next season where our defensive options in centre-back are a 38-year-old Thiago Silva, Trevor Chalobah, Malang Sarr, and that's it? And Reece James as could play right centre-back. We're going in with that. How is that acceptable planning from the board? It's not.
And like Colwell coming back from loan.
And Colwell as well, but he's never played Premier League football. So let's not pretend that's
neither did Guay though before we sold him, and now everyone's complaining.
But let's not pretend though that Colwell coming back is the answer to the problems. It's not. No. He'd just be an option. Is he much better than Chalobah? Who knows? He could well be going to be better, but at the moment he's an unknown quantity in the Premier League. So it's just for me. It's just the fact that for me, mate, it's just the planning from the board it's a joke. It really is. Like, you knew these guys were out of contracts. You knew this was happening. Why didn't you look ahead and see the big picture? Why didn't we get Koundé done last summer? Why didn't we sign Hakimi? Why have we got no depth in the wing-back areas? Why are we not addressing these things and then having to press the panic button when the shit hits the fan and 2 of our centre-backs are leaving on a free transfer and potentially 3 of them are, and we're fucked in the market. And
Marina.
and clubs will know we're desperate for centre backs now, and so that price inflates again because we're desperate for that position. It's a mess at the boardroom level. It really is. That's the big problem for me. Like,
it is, but I do still think we need to highlight that, at least according to reports, we met the demands of most of these centre backs. So we can have a go at the board. That's fair. And like I said, I understand we should have gotten to their demands earlier. And then if they didn't agree to their demands in the end, we could have sold them. That I agree with. But we did meet their demands. Yeah. And they decided not to stay.
Yeah, so, that's fine. But you should know as a club
that you can't control.
No.
If they tell you, okay, this is what I need, then you give it to them, then say no, well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, if we've done everything we can to keep those players who don't want to stay, that's fine. But you know as a club that if you're allowing assets to run into the last 12 months, there's a high chance they're going to move on. Why have we not planned for that? That's my whole point. Why have we not planned for this situation? Rudiger and Christensen leaving is bad, but it wouldn't be anywhere near as bad if Koundé was bought in last summer, if Hakimi was bought in last summer, and if we'd planned for it properly. Now we're going to go into a situation where we might have to go and buy Livramento back, or we might need to play Reece James at right centre back for longer. Like, it's an absolute mess, and we need to rebuild in the midfield in the summer, and we need to look at the attacking end of the pitch. And now a chunk of the budget is going to be taken up by fixing the whole back line. We need 2 centre backs minimum, and we need backup wing backs in both sides. And we fucked about. And it's an absolute mess. And I don't know if we can even get 4 defenders in one window. Like, is that even possible?
I don't know. And that's not even to mention the whole CDM situation. But I do need to say that, Dexter, let's not be silly. Lukaku was the opposite of a panic buy. we were working on Lukaku basically since May. And then we only got him in August. But we were working on it. And let's also not just blame Marina or the board. Blame the scouts for Lukaku. But also blame Tuchel. He agreed to Lukaku, and he hasn't found a way to make him work. That's on Lukaku, but that's also on Tuchel. I mean, Marina is not a football expert. If she's talking to Tuchel, and Tuchel is like, yeah, I can make him work, she's not going to question that, is she? It's not her job to question that either. If Tuchel says, yeah, one of Haaland and Lukaku good, I'll make him work, and then he doesn't make him work, not Marina to blame for that part, and it's also not a panic buy. But I think you made a good point earlier there, Charlie, in which you said the whole 140k. If people remember that, all the streams that we've done on this channel, I was always in Rüdiger's corner with this one. I'm like, this is a disgrace and an absolute embarrassment of the club that they offered him that low of a contract to start with. I completely agree. And that's why I was on Rüdiger's side. But we've gone to 230k. So we've increased the offer by £90,000 per week, mind you. And the year has 52 weeks. And we're probably talking a 4 or 5 year contract. So, that is a lot of money. A lot of money we went up by. His current contract, by the way, is £100,000 a week. So he got a salary increase, a raise of 130%. And he said no. Think about that. Whatever you guys do, obviously the student's different. But if you work and anyone offered you 130% of a raise and you say no while claiming you want to be here, that's not a sign of I want to be here now, is it? Clutch. Sorry that I kept you waiting for so long. What are your thoughts on the situation? I mean, a lot of people talk about Lukaku's and the Werners and stuff, but I do have to say something about that. I understand Rudiger if he's like, but Lukaku's shit and look how much he earns. But Werner is shit, look how much he earns. I get that. But he also owns a brain, I'm pretty sure. So think about things. Number one, Lukaku was, 27 the day he signed, or was he 28? Regardless, he was a new signing. £400 million. That was, since we've learned wrongly, but still touted as one of the top 5 strikers in the world at the time. So it only makes sense that he would get big wages. Timo Werner, we signed him at the age of 23, 24. So then you don't have the whole going into your mid-late 30s when we offer you a contract issue. You are 29 and you fuffled about for God knows how long with this contract. And then you're having the audacity to reject 230k. That's mental to me. By the way, guys, over 200 people watching. Appreciate it. Subscribe, please. We're on the road to 15,000 subscribers. I want to get there before the end of the season. So please do subscribe. Every new subscriber counts. And smash the like button. But Clutch, what are your thoughts on the situation? Do you agree with, Charlie and Pice had pretty similar opinions, but do you have a different one, or do you kind of agree with what those guys have said?
I'm a little bit in the middle of all of it. As for Charlie's point of why don't we be proactive instead of reactive, we are, just not in defense. We did it with offense, but those turned out to not be good options, right? Because we have a whole bunch of attackers. We have 8 attackers we could probably start right now. We are reactive in some
Chilwell signings. Those were all thinking ahead signings, I guess.
Yeah.
Werner was reactive.
Werner was reactive, yeah.
I get that.
But at least young, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd give you that one. But it's one of those things where I think we can blame a lot of different parties. I think it's on everyone, right? I mean, you go into this thinking, why didn't we just give it to him last summer? Well, from Chelsea's perspective, you're going to look at it and you're going to think, well, we have time to negotiate, right? From all accounts, these two players wanted to be here all season. It's only been in the last couple months that they decided they don't want to be here anymore. So from Chelsea's perspective, they're probably thinking, well, we can get a deal done if we take time, and all of a sudden they find out, hey, we don't want to be here. Sure, Rudiger said he wants to be here, but all of a sudden now you found out, hey, we're offering him what he wants and more, and he wants to leave now. So clearly he doesn't want to stay as much as he's been publicly saying. I think there's a lot of different things here that we can talk about. I think it is sad because we do want Rudiger around because he's such a good defender. But before Tuchel arrived, he was not. He was on the bench for a good reason, because anytime he played, he was terrible. We used to think Rudiger was one of our worst centre backs.
It was also a bit of an ego thing by Lampard. Let's not kid ourselves. It wasn't that Rudiger was actually our 5th best centre back. That's why he was 5th choice. We all know that was never the case.
Yeah, that's true. But I think we as a fan base need to understand, we're never going to be the type of club to go out there and spend 200, 150 million per summer. It's not how we've ever run. We did it one season, and we got all those players. So to think that we're going to keep doing that every summer after that, it was just crazy. We went and got Lukaku. After that, I didn't expect anything. I didn't expect anything.
Well, now we have new owners. Now it's almost a whole new thinking. We need to now learn how much we're going to spend every year or not. But until now, I agree.
Yeah, I agree on that. I think the new owners might change that. But I think as far as Rudiger goes, it's a worry. We've been here before, though. We've had these moments where we've been down, and I think it's more about how we pick ourselves up, because this team is one of those teams that in adversity is when we play the best and when we are the best. I think that's when we start to see ourselves. So for me, it's how we move forward from here. I'm still not saying Rudiger's gone. By all accounts, they can say it's gone, but until I see the pen on the paper and he's gone, it's always a possibility. He can turn around just as quickly as he decided he didn't want to wait here anymore. So for me, I think it's less about overreacting at this moment and letting things happen, because life is balanced. We need to be balanced. We need to see this side of it. We need to see that side of it. Do not get too overheated. Do not get too calm. It's somewhere in the middle. That's where I'm at.
There you go. Well, one thing I will have to say, I would hope that my community doesn't contain any, but chances are with how society is, there are probably some racists here as well. Please don't, even if you're angry at Rüdiger and even if you think he's snaking us, please don't racially abuse. I mean, don't abuse him full stop, but especially don't racially abuse him. That's the last thing we need. That's the last thing he deserves. It's unacceptable for anyone, anywhere, ever. But it's also not an excuse now to do that. So please refrain from that. And if you thought about it, then please, I don't know, go to a psychiatrist because you need help. I mean, I'm not sure if I have even that little bit of hope left that the Clash was talking about. Now, Pais, I know you've been critical of Marina at times over various things. Now, I do want to touch on something that Charlie touched on as well. The whole, you can't let it get there. And I think it was Texas Blue, was it, in the chat that said you can't leave it up to the players. Now, I agree. But again, I do think we put ourselves in a position, maybe, I don't think Marina is at fault for that necessarily. The whole changing managers all the time. If you say, okay, we should have done this, say, summer before. The summer before was the transition period between Lampard's first season and Lampard's second season, in which period Lampard demoted Antonio Rüdiger as a fifth-choice centre-back. Now, in that moment, even if we wanted to offer him a contract, he wouldn't have accepted one, okay? Then, of course, like I said, there is maybe this 3-4 month spell between Tuchel joining at the very end of January and obviously the Champions League final. Yeah, there is that little bit of spell. But like I said, at that point, how much do you offer him? Because now he's playing super well then. But at that point, it was 2, 3, 4 months of playing well. That wouldn't have been enough for us to give him huge wages. Who knows? Maybe if we gave him, say, 150 last March or April, maybe he would have agreed to that. We will never know. But he might have also rejected it, right? Christensen, similar situation. I mean, let's not pretend like we were all hyping Christensen all the time. Other than Lewis, no one was hyping Christensen. He was sometimes good, sometimes bad, whether that was under Kante, whether that was under Sarri, whether that was under Tuchel, whether that was under Lampard, sometimes good, sometimes bad. Like, it's a bit of a tricky situation in that sense. We're in a similar situation now. Kante and Jorginho are going into the last season of their contract now. With Kante now, would you have offered him a contract in the last 12 months? Because I wouldn't. Because in that last 12 months, he was either injured or out of form. 9 times out of 10 in that period. So would you have really wanted to offer him a new contract then? And even if you would have done, as a club, you probably would have valued him lower than Kante probably values himself, even if Kante is sadly not about money at all. And the same goes for Jorginho. Yeah, he had an unbelievable year. Maybe you could have offered him something in the summer, but when? Because we win the Champions League, he goes straight to the Euros, wins the Euros, instead of celebrating, comes back to pre-season super late. We start that whole thing with the Super Cup, and then we start the season. We actually start the season super well, and negotiations maybe could have started, but they couldn't have started because we're busy with Christensen, Thiago Silva, Rüdiger, and Azpilicueta, which now puts us into the position where we might have a similar problem with Jorginho and Kante next season. But could you genuinely have stopped that problem or not? Because, I mean, Jorginho obviously had an unbelievable year, but now imagine, because of the unbelievable year he had and finishing third in the Ballon d'Or vote, imagine we would have now given Jorginho, in the last 12 months, would have given him a contract of, say, 230, just because that's what we offered Rüdiger. Let's say we offered Jorginho £230,000 a week. And let's say Jorginho accepted that. And now Jorginho is in his current form all of you would be at Marina's back for giving Jorginho that contract. Now, can anyone in that position ever win? Because had we given him the contract, you'd complain that we gave him the contract. Now, we didn't give him the contract, you'll complain that he doesn't have a contract. I mean, Pice, if you have a response to me where you're like, well, that's how it would have worked, and then I'm like, fair enough, please do hit me. But I don't see it.
Well, I mean, if he was in this form, if we give Jorginho a contract back then, he was in this form, we still could have sold him. Essentially, if we
Would
wanted
he have
to.
left? If his form drops and he's on £230,000 a week at Chelsea on a new 4-year contract, 5-year contract,
Doesn't matter what he
else would
wants,
offer
what the
him that,
club
would he then have
wants.
left? Or would he then have turned into another Drinkwater where we're all complaining that they're still on the books?
Well, it doesn't matter what he wants at the end of the day. There's no authority at this club. If we need to sell someone, we need to sell someone. So if you give him a new contract,
if a player has a contract, you can't force them to leave. Look at Drinkwater.
Yeah, but yes and no. I think.
What do you mean no? Drinkwater is still here, so clearly no.
Yeah, but no one wants him anyway, so it's still there.
Alonso's still here.
Yeah, but that's
keep going.
Bakayoko we couldn't sell.
I kind of get your point, but with Rudiger, it's like, as I said, I don't know what to believe, because if the club did offer him that contract and he rejected, then I'm more against Rudiger. I'm not against the board in that situation. So it's like, what do you believe? Like, all the reports have come out there. It's like covered all sides. So, which one's actually true? Who fucking knows? Like, what do we know realistically? I don't know. I mean, the thing is with Rudiger I just don't understand, because he's played so well, and Tuchel has said this to the board so many times in reports saying that he has to stay. It could have been, whether we continued 3 at the back or 4 at the back, I still think he would have been one of the most important players for Thomas Tuchel. Managers after that, you can debate. We probably want Rudiger all gone again, perhaps, but it just comes back down to backing Tuchel for me. If they did offer Rudiger that big contract, then they have tried to back Tuchel. They have tried to listen to him. They have tried to sort the situation out. But if it's actually a case of, well, he's not got the money that he's asking for, and we were haggling over, 20, 30k or something to reach 200,000 or whatever, then that's a complete shambles. I'm sorry, you have to back Tuchel in that sense. So, like, what do you believe? We've had all different reports from very reliable people. So we've kind of been put in a corner here as fans, which is why I was kind of the opinion to start with. Like, when the news came out that he had been offered this huge contract and he rejected, I was like, but would he though? Like, because in the Athletic report, they said Rudiger was open to staying at Chelsea for a lesser contract than what he had been offered to leave. But then, if that's true, then why has he not accepted this so-called 200k?
They said
plus
lesser,
offer?
but not maybe that much lesser. Because didn't United apparently offer him 290,000?
No, they said 200. Other clubs had offered him up to 290,000.
Yeah,
but
and
I'm guessing
they said United had the highest offer, so that's why.
That was Nathan said that.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Is it not necessarily Rudiger, but is it the agent fees or something? Like,
maybe. But I also understand. Do you want to give him 10 million of agent fees?
No, I would not.
That's been a ball ache for us for 12 months.
That's what I mean.
Like, I understand why you wouldn't want to give him that.
100%. Like, if that's true, then he can go. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care who you are. Like, I don't care how well you've played. If it's illogical, the money overall is illogical, don't give it to him, because we need other players as well. Like, we've already fucked our wage system. Like, we were talking about this on a space with Con last night, me and a few of the boys, and mate, our wage, I think we're like 3rd highest in Europe or something, behind Man U and someone else, I think. It's ridiculous. So I can see the board's point of view, but it's just, again, what do you believe? Do you believe he got offered this huge contract? Or do you believe the board fucked up, waited all this time? Of course, they're not at fault for the sanctions, but again...
Can I just, because otherwise I'll forget about it, just because it's on topic now. Are we, like, if you divided it by players in the squad, I don't think our wage bill would be 3rd. I think the reason our wage bill is that high up there is because we have so many players on our books. I don't think we actually have, on average, such ridiculous wages compared to other clubs.
Maybe, but
we just have 30 players on 100k plus. I think that's the bigger problem than having high wages necessarily.
We was looking into it. Like one of the boys was talking about this. Chilwell obviously been great for us, but his first ever Chelsea contract. Remember when we signed Chilwell? The fans were quite pessimistic about that, right? His first ever Chelsea contract was 190,000 a week. Like that's a lot of money for someone that young as well. Like just some of the wages we're giving to people is crazy. So from the board's point of view, to kind of see that Rudiger had only been playing good for a few months and maybe they're like, well, you know, overall he's not been that great. I can see that point of view. I can, but at the same time, if Tuchel, he's key to our system. He's key to our way of playing. You have that manager. If you fully back that manager, then you just get it done. But then the alternative view, as I've said, maybe they did try and get it done.
The problem is you can't just I love Tuchel as much as you do, but you can't just blindly, randomly back managers. Like,
okay, but Laurenz, what happens if
there needs to be a limit to backing any man, no matter who it is?
What happens if Tuchel is pissed about this? Does he leave?
Oh, he might well
do?
be.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No, I understand your point. Leaving.
I think that's just part of being a manager, though. I think that's something he'll have to understand. If he's going to get mad about that,
he's got 2 of his Champions League defense leaving. Like, this is not like maybe 3. Like no manager. A lot of it depends on the new owner as well. I want to see what the
Christensen as well. Tuchel holds some blame in that too. Remember back in November when he went on this rant to Christensen in a press conference, basically telling him, you know, you talk the talk, now walk the walk. Well, that's backfired.
Well, I mean, I could understand it because supposedly he had a contract agreed, but he hadn't signed it. I understand it
too, but it didn't work.
No, it didn't work. He wanted a new challenge, but all the reporting we got was not that Rudiger wanted a new challenge. It was that he wanted to stay at Chelsea. So I don't know. I don't know what to believe. I'm so fucking... My mind is spinning in 1,000 directions because I don't know what is actually the truth. There's too many reports, too many circumstances. I don't know.
But the thing is, I mean, obviously, if you've seen different reports, but everything I've read on the Rudiger situation yesterday and today, they're not all saying the identical thing, but you can all kind of align them as one story. In like, I think they all kind of agree with each other in a way. There's just that minor differences in their reporting, but essentially they all agree with each other. I do want to get to this Texas Blue point, and I kind of want to get Charlie involved with it as well. You're pointing out lack of long-term planning to some extent. Okay, we were not able to extend them earlier, but why weren't other targets acquired? Now, again, I'll ask you this question. Last year, now you realize that, okay, you don't want to let them get into the last year and risk them leaving without nothing. But you were also in a situation where they were playing incredibly well. It goes for all 3 of them. Aspie, Rüdiger, and Christensen. All 3 of them. So at that point, Koundé, we should have gotten on Koundé. Who knows why we didn't? I mean, the fact that Koundé was so annoyed at Sevilla, I feel like I'm not sure how much we really have to blame because otherwise he might have been annoyed at Chelsea, not just at Sevilla, but he seemed so upset at Sevilla. Obviously, if someone can correct me on that, if I'm wrong, fair enough. But because Rüdiger then was playing so well and Christensen then was playing so well, you would still want to try to keep them. That is only natural. Imagine, again, just thinking out loud. Imagine if the report last summer weren't we were trying to extend Rüdiger's and Christensen's contract. Imagine if we're going to try to sign Koundé and, I don't know, Bastoni, just to throw a random name out there. And we're basically trying to sell Christensen and Rüdiger because they might not want to sign a new contract. Now, or just because they might run out of the contract or whatever. Now, imagine if we did that. All of you would be like, oh my days, Rudiger, Christensen, they're amazing. Give them all the money they want. Why would you ever agree to sell them? That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter what they do and what the outcome is. Someone will always complain. And yeah, it's long-term planning, and you followed that up by saying if Salah has 2 years left of this contract, I mean, he doesn't. He has 1 year and 2 months left of this contract. Where was it? Can't find it now. But regardless, you said, yeah, but even if Salah then leaves in the end, they already signed Jota and Luis Diaz. Now, Jota, I don't necessarily think it's a direct Salah issue or situation. But yeah, they signed Luis Diaz. That is fair. But now, if Salah leaves, do you not think they will need to replace him? But yeah, they did better there, 100%. But why did they do better there? because they've had Klopp in charge for 6 years. So for them, you can't just say we should be doing it like them. We're in a completely different situation. They've had the same manager. So of course they don't have these same issues. We would have given Rüdiger a contract ages ago had we not had Lampard, who made him 5th choice centre-back. And had we not sacked Lampard and kept Lampard instead, then Rüdiger would have just been sold. And then we would have never seen great Rüdiger, right? And then we also wouldn't have this issue, but just because Rüdiger wouldn't have gotten good again, essentially. I mean, to be fair, Lampard did bring Rüdiger back for the last 3, 4, 5 games before getting sacked, but whether it would have been at the same level, probably not. I doubt it. I don't know. But the problem with that is more that we constantly sack our managers. Like, if we never got Sarri, we wouldn't even have Jorginho. So we wouldn't even be in this situation where we now are. He's now going into the last year of his contract. And if we still had Sarri, theoretically, as much as people would hate that, if we still had Sarri, Jorginho would have long signed a new contract as well, because then he probably wouldn't want to leave either. I mean, who knows whether he will want to leave, but you get what I'm trying to say, Charlie. Like, the big problem here is long-term thinking is we stop ourselves from even doing that because we change our managers every 18 months.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. That's a massive part of the issue as well, because long-term at Chelsea has never existed under Roman Abramovich. No one has done more than 3. No one's done more than 3 seasons, so you can't really plan long-term. But what you can do is, you know, as I said before, not allow yourself to get into a situation like, you know, we were favourites for Hakimi at one point last summer. Don't tell me that we couldn't convince Hakimi to come and join the Champions League winners. Don't be stupid. We had the money to do it, and we could have convinced him. We didn't go for it. And look how costly that's been now. I know hindsight's great, but we should have signed him, and he would have actually played a lot this season, given how the injuries turned out to Reece James, given how many games we've played in the rotation. He would have played a lot. Big mistake there. Second mistake, Jules Koundé. We want him. We're speaking to him. Do it. Why are you not doing it? Tchouameni could have got him for so much cheaper like last summer. But why didn't you do it?
Could have gotten Hakimi though. Are we sure of that?
I think we could have. I think we could have got him. We could. I just don't think we tried hard enough.
His wife wanted Paris. That's why that's literally the reason he didn't come. Is his wife wanted to go to Paris. So hey, if you're a married man, you know what your wife says goes.
But I think we could have got Hakimi. And why are we negotiating with Koundé pretty much all summer only to pull out of it? Or I don't know if we pulled out of it, but you know, we're negotiating all summer. We could have just finished that off as well. And then, as I said, Rudiger and Christensen leaving. Okay, it's still bad, but we're in nowhere near as bad of a position as we are now going to find ourselves in. Because instead of having Colwill, Chalobah, a 38-year-old Thiago Silva, and Malang Sarr, we then have Jules Koundé in the mix, and we'd have Hakimi as well. Not that Hakimi would be playing in the back 3, but we could then use Reece James there because we have Hakimi as an outlet on the right-hand side. So
what happens if we change to back 4 and we have Hakimi and Reece James?
Well, we've got great squad depth, haven't we? Look,
but then we'll have some player that wants to leave again, and
but you're always going to have. Yeah, but you're always going to have players. All players want to play all the time, but it's a squad game. We played 63 games out of a possible 66 this season. The only 3 matches we're not playing are the 2 legs of the Champions League semi-final and the final. Otherwise, we played every other match possible available to us this season. Mm-hmm. Like, having Hakimi and Reece James as 2 options in a back 4, if it was going to be a back 4, that's like, those guys are going to play ample amount of football to keep them happy. There's so many games, injuries. Think how much football Reece James has missed this season. Like, we need the depth in the areas. Like, we're on about, you know, we didn't sign. Why have we got no depth in the fullback areas? And then you say if Hakimi comes in, what are we going to do if we have both of them? Like, that's a nice problem to have. Like, you need quality across those positions. City's fullbacks like Cancelo, Kyle Walker. You know, like we just don't have the depth to compete at the moment.
Can I make a counterpoint to that?
Yeah.
So you talk about Hakimi and James could have coexisting when Livramento left because he didn't think he was going to get the time. And Livramento's not Hakimi.
Didn't Livramento leave after he apparently heard the rumors of Hakimi, and that then was like, well, they clearly don't believe in me if they're after Hakimi.
Could be, but why don't you just wait? Who knew if that deal was going to go through? We don't know. He didn't know.
Because unfortunately, also footballers are reactionary human beings, I guess.
But yeah, it just goes back to like we've only got ourselves to blame that we find ourselves in this situation that the club's not to blame if you offer the players what they want or above and beyond their expectations or demands. There's only so far you can go. You can't be held to ransom by players. Like you as a club, you set your stall out. This is what we're prepared to offer you. This is what we think you're worth. If you don't want to sign a deal, don't sign. That's fine, not a problem. But what is the problem is the lack of planning in and around that. We should have had other bodies in the door to minimise the impact of these players leaving. We don't have those bodies in, and now it's panic stations because we've got literally no options at the back going into next season. That's the big problem.
I will say that again, though. While I agree with that, if we say we sign 2, not just Koundé, but 2, just in case Christensen and Rüdiger leave and Aspie, but then they didn't leave, then we'd have way too many defenders.
Yeah, but we can obviously use the loan market, and all right, it's not ideal. You could obviously load them out, and you could, I suppose, you'd also, in a worst case scenario, maybe sell and you take a hit. But it's
I agree with that part. Some of the criticism that people have had, but I completely agree. We should have gotten Koundé done.
We should have,
unless obviously Sevilla were being absolute pricks.
That's the big problem. That's my main thing is that we didn't prepare for this situation happening. That's my main issue. I think it's as simple as that. And I guess in a roundabout way, all kind of views are right in the sense of, yes, we should have planned more long term. But as you say, if we brought those targets in and then they both sign a new contract, you're slightly overpopulated. Not a bad situation to be in, but
we'd have even more problems with wage structure and everything.
Yeah, this is it. So we're kind of all right in a sense, but ultimately for me, it just comes down to planning. And the most annoying thing about not having these new owners in is that there's a lot of players available on free transfers now, very decent players as well. The free transfer market this summer is ridiculous, but we're not there to take advantage of it.
Watch us sign fucking Ronaldo or some shit.
But it's a mixture. But for me, it's the planning, and we're only got ourselves to blame for leaving ourselves in a mess at the back for next season, because it is a mess now.
A huge mess. I mean, dodgy name, Sam, but here we are. With Rüdiger going to Real Madrid, would Militao want out? I can see him filling in well. Yeah. Offer to sign Militao, offer him 250k just to piss Rüdiger off. And then, happy days. That is a reasonably fair point. I hear what you're saying with that, but the problem is that every manager has different preferences of which players he wants and which players he doesn't. Like I say, with the Lampard didn't want Jorginho, but Sarri did. And then all of a sudden Tuchel did again. Had Lampard stayed, we would have sold Jorginho last year. But he didn't stay. Hence why Jorginho is still here. And Rudiger would have left had Lampard stayed. But Lampard didn't stay. Hence why Rudiger didn't leave. Well, now he's leaving, I guess. So maybe the problem all along was the fact that we sacked Lampard. Had we not sacked Lampard, Rudiger would have left. We would have sold him for money, even though we probably would have only got 30 odd million. The form
don't
he
say
was
such
in
things.
Lampard. Sorry?
I said, don't say such things. Lampard leaving was one of the better things we've ever done.
The best thing we've ever done. Not one of the best.
And then we're going to have this, and then obviously we won't go into it in depth now. We're going to have the same issue next summer going in midfield. If we don't sell Jorginho or Kante this summer,
and now
we might lose both of them on frees next summer, and then we've got the same issue in midfield. Perhaps not as bad because we've got other options, but yeah, it's a similar situation again.
It's a fucking mess. What we need is a proper football person at the top of this board. I've had enough of this fucking.
But even then, with Rüdiger and Christensen, if Aspie leaves as well, even if we had the best director of football, even then we can't fix this all in one summer now. Because
100% true, but you guys, what have you guys been saying for 50 minutes? Planning. There is no planning at this club. There never has been. With her.
100%,
It's just,
100%.
Can we move on? Because I'm going to lose my shit. I can't be honest. I can't with Marina. Honestly, she's fucking useless. Get her out. I want someone proper who understands football. Can make the correct decisions at the correct fucking time. Sign proper players. She does my head in.
But
That's
I will say,
over.
when we signed Lukaku, you were gassed about it. So then you did think it was a great signing.
Yeah, I think everyone did. But again,
did Marina, as did Tuchel. That's what I'm saying.
Well, Lukaku still wasn't Tuchel's first choice, so I know that. So you know, that's
that may
another
well
case.
be true, but Haaland wasn't possible. So you gave him a second choice.
Well,
Haaland was never
Here
going
now
to be
and say,
possible.
like you and I were sat here on this StreamYard talking to Simon Johnson. He literally told us he doesn't think anyone can get Haaland.
But
You can't say,
supposedly,
"Oh,
Marina's
maybe
the
he
best
could have."
negotiator in the world. If you're the best in the world, you get the best
And
players in
even
the
the
world.
best couldn't do it. That means it wasn't possible.
But she's not the best. That's the point. That's what I mean. That's
Well,
why.
you got awarded the best, that's for sure. But to name me a better negotiator that you know is better, though.
I don't fucking know. I don't scout
That's what I'm saying.
negotiators.
So you can't
There's-
say
I
she's
know
not the
there's
best.
someone.
though.
Well, everyone calls her a good negotiator, but then she spent the whole fucking summer signing one player, and you know what? We even had Fabrizio Romano do overtime on his transfer show just to see if we could get the paperwork in for Saul on loan. Like, don't. Oh my god, don't. Oh, honestly, don't. This guy. Oh my god, I'm so worried for this.
We're into
summer.
Saul now. Pius' head is
shitting
going to
it.
explode.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. I mean, is it Marina's fault that she doesn't have a director of football? Is it Marina's fault that she has so much football responsibility, which she shouldn't have? I 1,000,000% agree with that. She should not have that. But it's not her decision that she had that. That was Roman's decision.
She'd threatened to leave if she lost the power. That's been the reporting lately. Oh, I don't know if she'd want to stay if she didn't have all this power. Well, who the fuck give her
But
this
if
power
you don't
anyway?
give her the power in the first place, you don't have to take it away from her, and then she wouldn't complain about it.
Exactly.
So that's Roman's
something
fault,
that-
not Marina's fault.
Exactly. That's something that Roman was wrong at, in my opinion. But that's because he had a close relationship with her. So what can we do about that? They've worked together for years, so we'll have to see what happens with her.
There you go. There you go. Is there any other news that we need to discuss, Pice? I don't think so. It was all Rüdiger, really.
Just wait another 10 minutes. There'll be a 1,000-word article out on Havertz.
Boys,
leaving or
the
something.
amount of times I've changed this thumbnail. I mean, he's sometimes in the chat. He's not here today. The problem is, if I try to say his name, I usually butcher it. I'm just going to call him Araniak. So shout out to you for making the thumbnail. But we've had about 15 changes to this thumbnail because every 15 minutes there's new news. First it was 200k plus. All of a sudden it's 230. I'm like, okay, can you change that? And then it was first I was trying to put on the thumbnail that Kovacic because he's injured. I mean, we're way far about caring who's injured anymore. Rudiger's injured, by the way. That was my favorite thing about when before the 200 rejecting that offer, before that news came out, everyone was like, yeah, but of course Rüdiger will agree with Real Madrid. Imagine he gets injured. He is injured. so that's not an explanation for anything. He is injured. Let's move on. Let's talk about West Ham tomorrow. Let's make ourselves even more sad. Can't wait to lose in that game. Brilliant. But yeah, still 200 people watching. Subscribe if you haven't already and smash the like button. But playing West Ham tomorrow. We still have Antonio Rüdiger injured. We can't defend without him. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow and next season. We still have Andrea Kovacic injured. Jorginho is tired mentally and physically. Ruben, in midfield. Playing wing back, sure, but then we still have any midfielders because Kante is also more than So what do we do? Brilliant. Excited. Can't wait. How are you feeling ahead of tomorrow, Clutch?
You know what? Positive. You know why?
Love that.
Yesterday I wasn't. Yesterday I was probably like one of those flamingos that stick their head in the ground, to hide. That's what I was doing yesterday. But today, like last night, everything came together. I do feel a little bit better because I think these are the moments where Chelsea play the best. We've had 3-4 days off now, so I think we'll be fine. And West Ham is going to be a tough team, but I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, see, the problem for me is that, like, I've been very, like, I said it to you guys, that Arsenal game killed me. But it killed me because partly it's Arsenal, partly because of how we lost, but mainly because we had that slump against Brentford and Madrid already, and then bounced back, beat Southampton 6-0, beat Real Madrid, even though we still got knocked out. And then who we beat on the weekend?
Beat Palace in the cup.
There you go. Beat Palace in the FA Cup semi-final. There you go. But then we slumped again. And that doesn't usually happen in Chelsea. And that's why I'm worried. Because we're good at bouncing back. But it doesn't usually happen that we go like obviously we sometimes get bad results after bouncing back 100%, but not Brentford. Obviously Brentford was before, but not like Arsenal. Like we lost 4-2 to Arsenal, and 3 of those goals were gifted them, and the other one was gifted by the referee. Like our manager complained about our own pitch, man. Our own pitch. That's the mess we're in. We're complaining about a pitch. Mental. Absolutely mental. And by the way, people always say, "Oh yeah, our pitch just doesn't suit how we play." We have the same pitch all the time. If the pitch is the problem in why we can't be successful in our style of football, then maybe we should be playing a different style of football because we play 19 home games in every Premier League season. So if our pitch is stopping us from playing as well as we can do, considering we play on that same pitch 19 times, maybe we should play differently. With that, I'm not talking about the pitch as itself, as in how nicely the grass is, but the side of the pitch, because people say, "Oh, it supports counter-attack football, not possession-based football." 100%. Not true. The pitch was replaced. Yeah, I'm talking about the size of the pitch now. Size of the pitch is what affects gameplay, or what it suits and what it doesn't. When the pitch was replaced, I don't know, but clearly it hasn't
every
gone well.
season.
So it hasn't been replaced since last year.
It's relayed every season. What Tuchel was saying was that it was delayed this season, and he thinks there's been like a problem with it the whole season, supposedly.
But why does he only mention it now? Why can't you mention it after we win? Because then you look like less of a clown.
Well, because I guess the mistakes is, you're not. If we win a game and he's like, "Well, the pitch is shit," everyone's gonna be like, "What? What are you on about? We've just won." What's wrong with it?
Because then it makes all the sense in the world. They feel like, yeah, we won, good performance, but actually we need to sort our pitch out because the bounce is weird and we're struggling with it a little bit. Obviously, we won today, great, but we need to make sure it doesn't cost us in the future. But instead, he said it after we lost, so after it already cost us. It's just too easy.
Maybe
you can't sit there after
like
losing 4-0 and blame the pitch, man.
No,
Even if it's true, you can't blame it. Like you can say it in the background, but don't say it to the media after you lose 4-2 to Arsenal. Come on.
I agree.
I mean, I get maybe he was trying to deflect from the team, but
100%,
really,
bro.
Christensen is who you need to protect. The guy is off the ball, so I don't need to protect him.
Yeah, but at the same time, like he's not leaving till the summer. You don't want dressing room problems, So,
bro, we already have dressing room problems. Otherwise, Rüdiger and Christensen would have signed contracts.
No, but like they're not like messing anything up at the moment. Like they're still trying, even though that Christensen's playing shit. What I mean is like with Tuchel in general, I hardly take notice of his media responses and stuff because he will do anything to protect the squad of players. Like I've never seen a manager like it, and I respect that, but it comes at the cost of pissing off fans because I know some of the stuff he says will piss off fans. It makes me laugh sometimes, but there's no way you can tell me that he's blaming the pitch inside that dressing room to the players. He's not. He's having a go at them, like analysing things. It's just for the media, So that's what I always think about it.
Yeah, but that's maybe, but that's bad media work in my opinion because that just makes you look like Ty from Arsenal Fan TV. Is that what you want to look like? I don't think anyone wants to look like him. So, and I don't mean that in how he actually looks, seem like him. All right, if anyone twists my words here. But also the amount of time Tuchel criticizes his own tactics, I'm like, stop doing that. Because at some point, the players will question him too. If you do it yourself all the time, it's a bad thing. You can't
Isn't
do
that
that all
what
the time.
fans wanted though? Like Tuchel takes some blame. Like he's one of the only ever managers. Like look how pissed off we got about Lampard. He was like, it's the players' fault. It's the players' fault.
Yeah. Of course, but we still don't want a manager getting it wrong this often. And Tuchel is saying this way too often. That's what I'm saying. Obviously, if it happens to him twice every 6 months, of course, then it's amazing that he takes blame for it and says, I got it wrong today. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again. We all love that. The players love that. He loves it. Everyone is a fan of that. But when it happens 6 times in 2 months, then at some point you're like, well, why do you keep getting it wrong? Because
yes and no, because then I still, even if he does get a line
he said
up,
2 games in a row, I didn't expect the opposition's formation. I'm like, really? That's bad for a manager.
No, it's not always that easy though, because managers can throw stuff up that you don't expect. Like it's a
But you need
a
to
whole
be
mental
prepared
game.
for all eventualities. That's your job.
Yeah, but as I said to you, in this time of the season, how long is there really to prepare for these matches? Like realistically,
As long as in every other part of the season for us, because we play every 3 days at every part of the season, other than the first 2 weeks.
which is why it makes it very hard, Lawrence, to remain consistent and continue to do really well.
Of course, but you don't hear Pep saying, "Oh, I got the tactics wrong," or Klopp saying, "I got the tactics wrong," because they don't get the tactics wrong.
And they also have world-class players. We do not have world-class players, especially in attack. Like, they can often bail teams out. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. We don't.
Like,
we don't.
Sorry,
that's
Klopp's
all well and
tactic.
good. That's all well and good. But it doesn't explain all the howlers our players make.
Klopp's tactics in defence, trust me, he cannot coach a defence. They just get let off by fucking stupid offside traps and Salah scoring a brace every game. They're awful. They've just got world-class players
Without
in
Van Dijk,
every
they're
most
terrible.
position.
No. I know they play a high line and that's risky when it gets past, but they play that high line to counter press, and that counter press is why they score so much.
Yeah, I get it. But it's still crap. Like, it's not like, like
it's not crap. Quite literally not, because they're 1 point off top while we're in turmoil.
Yeah, but they've got a miles better squad than us, bro. Like,
do they?
But yes, they do. Like, people need to stop coming for
a year ago.
Bro,
you didn't say that, did you?
On a one-off game, we can beat them. Yes, over a season,
a year ago,
no fucking
you didn't
chance.
say that they have a better squad than we did.
Last summer, no. I mean, everyone was gassed. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
But it's only until you get into the season
because our players don't perform.
Yeah, well, we've seen that our depth is clearly not good enough, and it's something that in the future, us as fans, other people,
100%.
we need to stop getting so hyped. Like, maybe we do need to be a bit more pessimistic after the summer windows. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if we sign 3-4 players, we don't just go, "Oh yeah, fucking hell!" Like, we're winning the league now, because it's very easy. Trust me, it's so easy to have that attitude when you sign players. It's actually all about how you perform, especially after Christmas, because look how many times we're top or near top at Christmas, then we capitulate every single season. So long term, yeah, I do need to be better at that, and so do other people as well.
I include myself in that 1,000,000% as well. All I tried to say with that, and I agree that they have a better squad, but I don't think it's that drastically different that you can say, that's why Klopp never sits there and says, "I got the tactics wrong." I'm not saying it's bad that Tuchel gets the tactics wrong, but in back-to-back games to sit there after the game and say, "I expected a different formation, and that was our issue," that can't happen. If that happened to Lampard, we'd slate him for it.
Yeah, but I then just think it's wrong when everyone then, like, because they see that Tuchel quote. This is what happened against Arsenal. Tuchel said he got the lineup wrong. I still don't necessarily think there was much wrong with that lineup. It's all hypotheticals. If we won that game, people would be saying, "Do not question Tuchel, blah, blah, blah." But because we got battered, everyone was like, "Fuck Tuchel, fucking what are you doing?" Blah, 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 blah. And it's like, because he comes out and says he got it wrong, everyone puts the blame on Tuchel, and they don't put the blame on the players. That's my problem. It's never
I think we've put plenty of blame on the players over the last few
bro.
days,
I didn't come to the stream.
We spent 6 months saying the attack is not good enough. We say
the players left, right, and centre every time.
What I was saying after Brentford and Arsenal, the majority of blame was to Thomas Tuchel, and that's where I think it's wrong. The majority of blame has to be the players.
Guys, you've got to understand though, because obviously we're all aware that some players have struggles, right? But we're not used to Tuchel getting things wrong. So when Tuchel gets things wrong, that will be more of a topic of discussion than Malang Sarr being bad, because we're a lot less surprised by that. So of course that's going to be on Twitter a bigger talking point, obviously.
I mean, it all comes down to what do you think he did wrong at the end of the day, and then you have a discussion about that. But I don't know. I just don't personally believe Tuchel thinks he gets all these things wrong. I feel like I don't know. It's very hard to explain.
I think he's overdoing it with trying to protect the squad. Personally, then
that's probably it, and it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's 50-50.
I do personally. The small question I've always had of Tuchel since he come in is I think he adapts a little bit too much to the opponent. When we play City, when we play Liverpool, do that. But I think he doesn't let us do us enough sometimes. We need to make sure we play our best. And then we don't need to adapt to the opponent. Make sure we play our best and make them adapt to us. That's what City do. That's what Liverpool do. Have you ever seen Liverpool play different tactics other than against City ever? No. Because they will beat everyone with their tactics.
Are you talking about in terms of formation or what?
Palace. We played Reece James right centre back because of Wilfried Zaha. Man, the guy's more famous for being a clown than a footballer with all his diving.
But also because of his fitness, right? Tuchel did say that. He's been playing there because of
no,
fitness.
and that is totally fair. And I get it. Like, but still, the fact that he even mentioned Zaha in that discussion of why Reece James played right centre back is mental to me. Like, it's Wilfried Zaha. He's 29 or 28 and still at Crystal Palace. Can't be that good then, can it?
Yeah, but then what happens if Reece didn't play there? Zaha skinned Aspi or Christensen and they went 1-0 up. What then? You know what I mean?
But also, what happened if Reece James either didn't play or played right wing back and we smashed him 6-0 instead of scraping?
I agree. That's why
both of these possibilities are equally as true.
That's what I think is why I find it incredibly annoying when people blame Tuchel, is because it's a game of hypotheticals, and unlike other managers, I don't think he does much drastically wrong. I think maybe it's just one or two things that when they go right, everyone goes crazy and says how much of a good manager he is. But when it affects us, like Arsenal, people go over the top. That's my personal opinion. But anyway, we should probably talk about West Ham.
We should. But in a way, we're doing that. And in a way, I'm also just avoiding talking about it because I really don't want to.
Yeah, I don't want to go to the game tomorrow. I can't lie. It's
just, I don't even want to see what these lot are going to come up with again. And by these lot, I mean these players. Because do I want Werner playing? No. Do I want Pulisic playing? No. Do I want other than Havertz and Mount, this entire team pisses me off. Well, and Ruben, because I love Ruben. But do you know what I mean? Like, how have we come to a position where I don't want to, but my brain is telling me, am I sure that in this current form, Mendy's better than Kepa? I don't know. And I don't know. And I know you're all going to say, yeah, he is. But is he? In his current form, is he? I don't know. But obviously, we need to get rid of Kepa because Mendy's just going through a bit of a slump and he will be back. But that, like, I can't trust anyone. Thiago Silva, like, got spun like a 20-year-old for that third Arsenal goal. Like, what was he doing pushing up? He was either 3 steps too late or just completely doing the wrong thing. So I just like, none of our players fill me with confidence. The only one that does is Rüdiger, and he just, we found out, rejected £230,000 a week and is injured. I mean, yeah. But anyway, I will get the lineup thing up on screen now, so we can. That helps me focus and forcing me to focus on the game. And by the way, just to say something, we play the same formation pretty much every game. Number one, we really don't. The amount of times we've switched formations since January: 4-1-4-1, 4-3-3, 4-2-2, 3-5-2, 3-4-2-1, 3-4-1-2. We do not play the same formation every game. Not at all, by the way. But anyway, Charlie, I think I asked Clutch earlier, even though we then went on the tangent of completely different things for the next half an hour. But how do you feel ahead of the game? And how do you think we should, like, what players do you think should be playing? I mean, in some positions we don't have a choice, but is there anything that can help?
I don't know, mate. It's a tough one. Me and Pice were discussing this last night. I don't know. In terms of how I'm feeling about it, I can't lie. It's a bit pessimistic, really. Like, I'm not saying we're going to go and lose, but we're not in a good, like, things aren't going well at Stamford Bridge at the moment in terms of the home form. The home form's terrible. Awful. Absolutely terrible. I think we're 8th or 9th in the form table for home form. Dreadful. It's not good enough. And it's not what we've been used to at Chelsea over the years. Stamford Bridge has been an absolute fortress for us. At the moment, it really isn't. I don't know if it's too easy for away teams. I don't know if it's dimensions of the pitch, does not suit in our style of play. I don't know what it is, but things aren't going well at home at the moment. And West Ham are a decent side. Let's make no mistakes about it. You know, Declan Rice, Souček, Bowen, Fornals, Lanzini, Antonio's a handful up front. Cresswell and Fredericks, decent fullbacks. Like, it's a decent team. This is going to be really tough for us given our home form. And look, we can definitely win, but am I confident we're going to win? Absolutely not. And to be honest, I don't think there's an awful lot we can change tomorrow, lineup-wise. I mean, the only thing I disagreed with pretty much in the lineup on Wednesday's game with Arsenal was that Thiago Silva wasn't starting. Apart from that, everything else was pretty standard. Like, I didn't see too many issues with it. Like, people have only got a problem with Malang Sarr playing just because he did shit. Like, it wasn't a huge issue Sarr starting because he's actually been half useful in the games he's played. But because he had a shocker, it's like, oh, why did he play? So
I also don't understand personally why he was the one that was singled out for being bad. By the way,
mate, everyone was
if
shit.
Chalobah instead of Saar would have changed everything. Like what? How?
Yeah.
No
So
sense.
there's not that many changes we can make, to be honest, mate. So I mean, I don't feel too confident, but we can definitely win. But it's going to be really hard, really hard. And there's not too many changes that we can make from that Wednesday lineup to tomorrow, really.
There isn't. Now, I'll ask you one thing. Considering we're making mistakes left, right, and centre in a back three, is it even worth playing the back three? Because if we're not even good, if we ship 4 goals, if we ship in 3 home games, 11 goals in the back three in all of these games, is it even worth continuing with the back three, or might we as well go for a back four then?
When you're making as many individual errors as we are, it doesn't matter if you're playing back 3, back 4, back 5, back 7. If you're making individual errors, like the formation's irrelevant. Like I don't think changing to a back 4 is not going to make our defenders make less mistakes. All right, there might be one less defender back there to make a mistake, but it's like it still doesn't really eliminate those issues. And I don't think we're that much better in a back 4. Going forward, we might be a little bit better, but I don't think it makes us defensively any better. And we're letting in a lot of goals at the moment, so I think we need as many defenders on the pitch as possible. So for me personally, I would stick with the back 3, but never say never. We could see the back 4 tomorrow, depending on availability of certain players.
There you go. Fair play. I'll ask the other boys as well in terms of formation, just so we can kind of get our thoughts on that done straight away. Pice, do you reckon stick to the back 3? Or would you change it up?
I think so, yeah, because I don't feel like we've got the midfielders for a 4. Every time we play a 4, Loftus-Cheek plays as the 6, which I mean is pretty pointless. So, yeah, I think we have to stick to the 3, to be honest with you.
Fair dues. And Clutch, do you agree as well, or do you think it should be changed up?
I don't think it really matters. I'd probably pick the back 4, but outvoted, so just do back 3.
Fair enough. It's a tough one for me. If I'm being honest, I don't think it matters much right now which formation we play. Clutch, is it still Mendy in goal, or do you reckon it should be Kepa? I mean, someone in the chat said, let me just highlight, I think it was Cranky Pants actually. Where is he? Where was he? There you go. He says Kepa should play, because if we play Mendy, can it just highlight, please? There you go. If we allow Mendy to play after these shocking stats or performances, we're setting up a standard that we can lose and we'll still play you. Do you agree with that? Or is this a case of a players going through a bit of a rough patch, especially goalkeepers who need to show trust in them, and that's how they find their form again? I
think that could be for other positions. For the goalkeeper position, I think you have to keep playing the same one. He is your number 1. Mendy is the better keeper 9 times out of 10. And I'd really rather have Mendy claiming all the balls from corners, because that's how they're going to score on us if they do.
Okay. Charlie?
Yeah, I'm sticking with Mendy. Look, this is his first real slump in form since he's joined the club. So, if we start changing players every time they have a bad run of form, you'll be changing stuff all the time. So we just need to stick with him. He'll come through this, and he is our best goalkeeper. It's as simple as that, despite his current form. So, yeah, he stays for me.
Fair dues. Clutch then. No, already asked you. Pice then.
I mean, I don't know. Personally, I would probably actually play Kepa, but it makes sense to keep Mendy in, I think. I mean, just responding to that super chat there, it wasn't very good when I was at the Arsenal game. I can't lie. I know there was less people, but even in the Matthew Harden end, it wasn't great. It's quite toxic at times. So yeah, that's my response to that. But yeah, I think Mendy's passing recently, bro, has just been so bad. Like, again, the Arsenal game, everyone was telling him to boot it long. I don't know whether it's instruction or not, but he literally wouldn't boot it long. Every time he did, Lukaku wouldn't jump anyway. So I'd probably play Kepa just to see if that makes Mendy kind of feel like, oh shit, I've been dropped here, I got to get back in, perform better.
It would have been so easy to just play Kepa in like the FA Cup semi-final. But even in that game, you didn't play him, because that game wouldn't have felt so much like dropping for Mendy.
Mendy's going to start. Tuchel said he's not going to change it, so Mendy's going to start.
I agree.
But
I do agree.
I mean, I don't think Kepa's as terrible as everyone says or thinks he is. Not gonna lie.
I agree completely. I would probably also just pick Mendy if we have another 1 or 2 bad games. Then maybe it's something you need to consider, but I don't think it was enough really bad games other than the Real Madrid at home mistake. I don't think it was enough really bad. To be fair, last time against West Ham was probably his worst game all season, if I'm honest. But yeah, appreciate the donation by Swiss Daniel saying, what are your thoughts on the atmosphere at the bridge? Just seen some complaints about it the past few weeks. On TV, it seems quiet. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, myself and Con especially had a bit of a go at the people after the Arsenal game anyway, because, I mean, it was only proper chills. And where was the noise? I thought it was only the tourists' fault when we have no atmosphere. But oh wonder. That's a different discussion for a different day because we've already discussed it the other week. I will probably pick Mendy, like I said. So let's go to the back three. Now, I think the only thing we probably all agree upon is Thiago Silva starts here. I do start in the other positions. Now, for me, I understand the whole, yes, Chalobah played left centre-back for Lorient. I get it. But he hasn't played left centre-back for us. And he's heavily right-footed. And also, if you saw the passing map against Arsenal, Malang Sarr had, by the way, the most touches. Like that. And then you want to change that position for someone that's not left-footed? I'm not saying I want Salah to play again. I just don't know who I want to play because I'm not as convinced as a lot of you seem to be that Chalobah will be that much better. That's my concern. That's just no matter who it is, if it's not Rüdiger, it's bad, essentially. So I just don't know. Clutch, who do you reckon should be the 2 wide centre-backs then?
If it was me, I'd put Christensen on the left, Aspie on the right.
Okay. Price, what do you think about that?
Christensen on the left, Chalobah on the right. Or switch them round because people kept moaning at me that Chalobah should have played left centre back. So, you know what? I'm putting Chalobah left centre back, AC on the right because that's what people told me is going to be great. So I'm going to listen to them.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is, if anything, better because Christensen has at least played for our first team at left centre back once or twice. Chalobah has never done so.
No, but remember, he did it at Lorient, Laurenz. So that means he's going to be amazing at left centre back for us.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to leave him here anyway because otherwise, how can I do it? Charlie, though. Clutch went AC and Aspie. Pice went AC and Chalobah. What do you reckon?
Well, I'm going to go for another one. I'm going to go Christensen on the left side for sure. And then right side, I'm going to stick with Reece James there because look, Chalobah for me, like he's a good player, but mate, he's not played for weeks and weeks. Like it doesn't look like he's going to be in favour anytime soon either. And I'd much rather have Reece James in right centre back than Aspie because Aspie's going to get done for pace. And in a physical battle, I'd still rather have Reece James up against the likes of Bowen and Antonio and stuff. So I know it limits us a little bit on that right hand side going forward, but I'd probably still stick with Reece James as right centre back for this game tomorrow. So I'll go Christensen and James.
Okay. For me, the Reece James situation is quite simple. Even though I understand what Charlie is saying, with our current struggles, either you drop him or not drop him, but either you leave him out to rest him if he needs that to play right wing back, or you play him right wing back. Because he was okay against Arsenal, but he didn't provide enough defensive stability that we didn't ship for, and he didn't do anything going forward. So that to me then says it's pointless playing him there. I get, when we're playing well as a defense, fair, because then he's probably the best to play right centre back. The problem is he's also the best to play right wing back. But for me, it's like if the reason he only plays right centre back is that he's not fit enough for right wing back after so many games in a row now, after first not playing at all in 2022, basically, then leave him out for a game. If that's what needs to happen, I'd rather have a properly fit Reece James against Man United than have Reece James linger around at right centre back while the other defenders make one mistake after the other and we ship 4 goals against United and West Ham, because then I don't give a shit. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I would pick Reece James at right wing back. If he's not fit, don't play him at all. Therefore, Yeah, you know what? I'd actually agree with Clutch. And the reason I do it is Aspie right centre back, and then I play Reece James here. And then if Reece starts to struggle physically or Aspie starts to struggle defensively, you can in-game switch it around. If you play Chalobah here or Christensen here and you have Reece here, then you can't just switch it around. Therefore, Aspie to switch around just in case. That's probably my logic. But there you go. Now, Charlie, of course, for you, it can't be Reece James. So does that mean Aspie's your right wing back, or would you put Ruben there?
No,
and play Jorginho and Kante midfield then?
Yeah, I think I'll probably I'd stick Ruben there and then have Jorginho and Kante in midfield. I just think, I don't know. I just reckon it might be good. Ruben's done pretty well there in the midfield too. He's done all right, but I'm not saying that he can't be good in the pivot. But maybe he can get forward from right wing back, and he can obviously drop in and make a third man in midfield as well. So I just think I probably prefer him there to Aspie for this game. But again, if he doesn't play, then it'll just be Aspie there for me. But I'd go Ruben on my personal choice.
Yeah, maybe I wouldn't even hate that. If Ruben plays right wing back, you can play Reece James right centre back. Fine. But I don't know if I want Kante and Jorginho midfield. It's the next problem.
That's the other problem, though, isn't it? So it's like, what's the best? What's like the least worst of the two situations?
Sorry, can I just chip in? I was just thinking as well, Charlie. When we did the lineup with you, we was mentioning that Rice would be in midfield, but they've got no centre backs apart from Dawson. So I'm pretty sure he's going to play centre back.
He could play centre half.
So I mean, is Mark Noble going to be in midfield? If that's the case, then you got to play Loftus-Cheek, in my opinion. You did run him ragged. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to think who. Like, he always comes in when Rice is injured or whatever. So
that's a possibility.
It's a shout, but at the same time, we could also say if it's Mark Noble, you could comfortably play Jorginho. He wouldn't struggle and would be able to dictate the game as he does well when he can. So right that kind of argument, if it's Mark Noble, kind of runs both ways. I would say.
Don't play Kante then. Don't play Kante.
No, that's my favorite shout. Jorginho, Ruben. If it's Mark Noble, we'll batter them.
100%.
Yeah. I'll go with that in midfield, but I will for the time being, because I put Reece James at right wing back anyway. Now, Charlie, before I go back to Clutch, who's your left wing back? Do you just stick with Alonso, even if it would be his fifth or sixth game in a row?
Well, I think we have to. I mean, the only other choice you've got there is Aspie. So I mean, mate, Saul's not going to play. When was the last time he played? Like he's
to be fair, against Burnley when we won 4-0. So
yeah, but he come off the bench, didn't he? So
he started that game.
Did he start that one? He did he?
I think that was when Alonso had the Rona.
He came off, I think, for Madrid too. I think he came off.
Oh, he did come on for Madrid for a little bit. Yeah. No, I'm not having Saul there. I just think it'll be Marcus Alonso continue. I know he was awful against Arsenal, but like realistically, he's probably the best option.
He loves to be awful against West Ham, but
but he's the best option. As much as we like to scapegoat him, and he's very inconsistent with his performances, he's still, if we look at it from the options we've got, he's still the best option we've got available. As much as we might hate to say that, like no one else really is going to do any better there from the players that are available.
Yeah. No, I do agree. I mean, I disagree with that though. Jess, I do apologise. Reece James at left wing back. It's not what I want to see while the whole team is struggling. Yeah, if the whole team was in decent form, I think that's something we can consider. But while everyone's struggling, not what I'd personally go for. Pice, I mean, you made that shout for Jorginho and Ruben. Does that mean you'll play Aspie at right wing back? Or do you play Reece James right wing back?
See, I would like to play Reece James, but I don't know if he's... I mean, he's not started there since... I mean, when was the last time he started there? He keeps playing right centre-back, so...
I feel like also that very Burnley game.
I can't really remember, to be honest.
Yeah, because that's the game he got injured in, isn't it? And then
then he scored as well.
Exactly, yeah. And then he got injured again. So that was his first game back after the January injury. It was first game back, got injured again. He was out for another, 3 weeks, whatever it was. And then he came back since and has played right centre back all the time.
Yeah, like he's got to play right wing back. Like we'd be 5 points ahead of Arsenal again if we win tomorrow. I think he's going to be a key to our attack, which is crazy as well because just we're really down in the mud. But he's got to play there if we have to predict 11. Whether he will or not is a completely different question.
I agree. Unfortunately, that is a very different question. And then the left for you, mate?
Jeez. I mean, it's like picking between lots of different dog turds, isn't it? I mean, you've got Alonso, Saul, like Kennedy. I mean, I'll probably go with Alonso because he's just the most experienced there. But I wouldn't mind seeing Saul. It's just the thing is, like, again, I was saying this with Charlie. You've got Bowen on the transitions, and just Bowen in general, 1v1. They're going to get past any of these guys that we play left wing back. So who's the best out of all of them? Probably Alonso. So Alonso.
Fair. Clutch, what about you then? You put Aspie at right centre back, so that leaves Reece James. Is that who you put there, or is it Ruben? And then what about the left side?
I wouldn't mind seeing Ruben at right wing back, but it has to be Reece James. If we're going to play this formation, we need that wing back to do work up front. That's what we need. One reason we've known it's not working is because we've had Alonso and we've had Aspie doing it for the last 3 months. Reece James is back. We need to put him back in that fight. And unfortunately, you still have to play Alonso. Could I see Saul? Yeah, but he's not playing. We only have 3 subs, so I'm going to put Alonso over there.
Okay. So then I'll stick with you, Clutch. If you didn't pick Ruben on the right, would you pick him in midfield or would you go Jorginho and Kante?
Ruben, Jorginho.
Okay. Simple as that, is it? Or any explanation?
It's the most balance we have. I mean, you're not going to play Kante over there. Why would you? He's been awful. I'm quite tired of seeing awful Kante. For me, it hurts seeing awful Kante because I don't want to come on here and slate him every time we see him because he's been bad for 5-6 games in a row now. I don't want to see it anymore. I want to see Jorginho and I want to see Ruben.
There you go. Fair play. Charlie, then you picked Ruben on the right. So is it just plainly Kante and Jorginho in the middle then?
Yeah, so it has to be. I'm not playing Saul there. And I know as bad as Kante's been, like he's still a good player and he can bring a performance out. And plus, I think, I just think either way, like I'd play him, and I think Tuchel probably play him as well. He seems to be playing all the time at the moment, regardless of his performances. But I go, Kante, Jorginho. But if Ruben doesn't start a right wing back, then obviously I probably would bench Kante and put Ruben in there. But yeah, for my team, I'll go Kante, Jorginho.
Fair play. And what about you, Charlie? Pice, sorry.
Anyone but Kante. I mean, he's just been dreadful recently. I forgot he was even on the pitch against Arsenal. I don't think he's going to be any use against West Ham. Jorginho, Loftus-Cheek for me. By the way, one of these upcoming games, Saul is going to play because whether it's at left wing back or in midfield, I can't see the same people starting like constantly. So one of these games, you'll see Saul start. I just don't know whether it's going to be tomorrow.
Just do it against United because against Wan-Bissaka, neither Alonso nor Saul is going to do anything offensively anyway. But Wan-Bissaka doesn't really threaten you attacking wise, so then just play Saul, surely.
Yeah, I did also watch Anthony
Wan-Bissaka hardly plays for United these days.
That's why he played against Liverpool just 3 days ago.
He did, and then Dalot was back in today. They usually rotate, but that Anthony Elanga on the right-hand side is literally like the quickest player I've ever seen, so I'm already dreading that.
Yeah, but opposition's wingers are more up against our right centre-back anyway.
Yeah, it's true sometimes, I guess, because our wing-backs push up, but still, like, I mean, Saka against Alonso was awful. He was constantly against Alonso, and that was quite horrifying.
That's because it was Salah next to him. If it was Rüdiger, it wouldn't have even happened that way.
Yeah,
but
Rüdiger
I guess we don't have
pocketed
Rüdiger tomorrow either. So
yeah, he better. That's another debate as well. Do you guys even want to play Rudiger anymore? Like,
I don't fucking know.
I can't.
In the cup final, I do. All the other games, maybe not.
We'll have to talk about that if he's back for United, I guess.
Yeah, if he is, who knows? Who knows if he's even injured? Maybe he's just sorting out his contract. Who knows? That was a curveball in there, wasn't it? Front three then. My midfield. Yeah, I'll probably agree. Georgie, Ruben, if I play Reece James right wing back. But unless someone gives Ruben a little bit of a slap on the back of his head, I don't know if he's going to be energetic enough from what I want from him. I don't know if he's going to help Jorginho enough because Jorginho needs it with how tired he is mentally and physically. So I don't know if that works either. If I'm honest, I have no idea. Against Mark Cano, we'll probably be fine with that. But if it's Rice and Souček, but even then, even if Rice plays centre back, then he's still Souček and Noble. And Souček is still Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, for that reason, especially if it's Rice and Souček, I think we need to play Ruben in midfield anyway, because imagine Jorginho and Kante. They get out-muscled so hard by their two midfielders. So a bit of height and strength and, do you know what I mean, could probably do as well, I reckon. Let's get to the front three. Now, one thing's for sure, Havertz starts up top. One other thing for sure, Mount starts in one of the other positions. I mean, on form, I'm probably going to have to pick Werner. Just on form. I mean, yeah, it's maybe harsh on Pulisic that he hasn't played. Yeah, it's maybe harsh on Ziyech that he hasn't played. But when they both last played, they weren't great. And Werner was our best, maybe player, but at least attacker against Arsenal. So, and played up pretty well against Madrid, played pretty well against Southampton, got goals against both. So probably Werner. At some point, his form will drop off, so we don't need to worry about resting him. So just play him until his form drops off, and then he rests himself anyway. So, yeah, that's why I picked that front three. Charlie, what about you? Is that the same front three you pick?
Yeah, exactly the same that I go with. Yeah, I mean, obviously Havertz is going to play. Lukaku's definitely not going to start after Arsenal. Mount always plays it like pretty much. He's in very good form. I know his overall game wasn't as good as it's been in recent games against Arsenal, but he still chipped in with an assist, so he's still contributing to goals, which is important, and he'll play. And then Werner, for me, he's one of those confidence player, isn't he? Confidence is up at the moment. His luck's changing a little bit. Deflected goal that he would never have got when his confidence was low. Now things seem to be going his way. Last 4 games, he's been decent by his standards. So I think we just need to keep playing him. So it's unfortunate for Ziyech, it's unfortunate for Pulisic, but at the moment, those guys aren't good enough to get in a team right now. So I'd be going with those 3, and we can have them as options from the bench to try and mix it up if we need to. But yeah, that's our best front 3 at the moment. On current form, those 3 is our best front 3. So that's what I'd be going with.
I mean, I'm happy to go gung-ho if it's necessary and bring Pulisic on for Alonso and I don't know, like switch it to a 4-1-4-1. Who gives a shit at this point? You know what I mean? Like if tomorrow goes badly again, I don't even know. If because obviously the F1 and Chelsea's on the same time tomorrow. If Verstappen wins and West Ham win, I'm gonna come on it and just cry. Honestly, I will be devastated. Pice, is that the same front 3 you'd pick, or would you throw a Ziyech or Pulisic in there? I presume nobody's going to pick Lukaku.
I'm going to go with the same front 3 I went with on Charlie's channel. Mount on the left, Ziyech on the right, Havertz up top. I think with West Ham, they're very, very good defensively, and I want Ziyech's creativity in this game. I want him to have a game. Switch him out, by the way, in my lineup anyway. That would be what I have. Mount on the left.
Yeah. But if I put him next to Mount, then it would sound like you're playing him instead of Mount. So.
Wait, what?
Sorry. I thought you meant switch him out by I should put him on the other side. Sorry. Never mind.
Yeah, so I'd have Mount on the left, Ziyech on the right, Havertz up top. That'd be my front 3. I'm not against Pulisic, to be fair. At this point, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. Like, fucking, like, I don't know. Just try anything at this point. Like, I'm kind of just depressed watching Chelsea. I just think putting Ziyech in there might help us with that bit of magic. I don't know. I'm probably clutching at straws, but who knows?
Yeah, there you go. And clutch then. Are even you going to? Why is Laurenz doing like a Mount is Ronaldinho? What? I'm so confused. Mount has literally had a goal contribution in every single one of his last 6 games. Mount is not getting dropped. I don't understand. Like, fair enough. A few weeks ago, there's been a little bit of criticism of Mount, and then maybe would have been somewhat warranted to drop him, but not now. Not if he's the only one that actually gets goal contributions, man. My days. But clutch, leaving your boy out, Pulisic, or are you gonna put him in there instead of someone?
If it was me, I'd put him in there, but I don't think he's going to be in there. I don't think he really deserves it. I do think he deserves to come off the bench. Just a reminder, when we lost to West Ham earlier in the season, Mount was on the left, Ziyech was on the left, Mount was on the right. So that's how we played it, and we lost earlier this season. I Unfortunately, we know Ziyech doesn't play in this formation. Ziyech only plays on the wide spots. That's why when he usually gets brought on, he usually gets put like a wing back or kind of like a role. So it would have to be Werner, Havertz, and Mount. And like you said, at some point, Werner's confidence and form is going to drop. So just use him while we still got it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. You know, I find it interesting. People like Malik. Your national team also, I mean, I'm not sure if you're Moroccan, but if you are, your national team doesn't know how to use them either because they kicked them out. So like, no one's known how to use them since Ajax. So, you know, and that's the Eredivisie. To be fair, he obviously was great in the Champions League, but for an Eredivisie club, the Champions League is a game once every few weeks, while, you know, in a different league like the Premier League, you have different, like, especially in the group stages, our Premier League games are way more difficult than 2 of our 3 group stage opponents. But hey, guys, I think we're going to leave it here. Obviously, who knows what's the situation with Rüdiger? We told you what was reported, that he apparently rejected a £230,000 a week offer because his agent wanted a big agent fee and the Rüdiger himself wanted a bigger signing on fee. Whether that's true or not, I guess we don't know. Theoretically, could be the club saving face and making sure that their mouthpieces in the media, the Athletic to some extent, and also Matt Law, report what needs to be reported to save face at the club. Could be. But then again, when you see things like Pai said that what was it, Sammy, whatever his name is, in like a few months ago said 200,000 was rejected. The fact that Christian Falk said we found an agreement on wages, but the problem is other kind of parts of the contract make this whole report also seem somewhat logical. Who knows? If he does leave, we're very interested to see his social media goodbye post. Be very intrigued. Will also depend, obviously, on what reaction he will get from now until then if he does end up leaving. But yeah, West Ham tomorrow. Let's hope for the best. Confidence at an all-time low, probably. I can't remember being this pessimistic going into any game as Chelsea fan, if I'm honest. Maybe since the Jose days where we were obviously 16th. Maybe since then I can't remember being this. No, it's not even pessimistic. I just have no want to see us play because I'm like, every time we play, you just make me more depressed. So I don't know, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't even want to see them play. But you know, we will tomorrow, and hopefully they change it. There you go. They change it round, I suppose. Hopefully they change it round, and we get back to winning ways. We need to make sure, otherwise we'll get properly dragged into a top 4 fight, and I really can't bother for that. Watch us at the end of the season after the last Premier League game sit here happy for player race. Oh yeah, we made top 4, brilliant. Just because of how bad the last 2 months would have been. Bloody hell. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, big shout out to my 3 wonderful guests. Charlie's channel is linked down in the description. The Blues Brothers, like I said, down in the description. Please do follow Clutch on Twitter. Please check out Pice's website, chelseafc365.com. By the way, if I sounded a bit weird today, I've got Invisalign these days. Took them out for the last few weeks, but now I've got these little things on my teeth, which look weird without the braces and also feel weird on my lips. So that's why I had to do today with the braces. So if sometimes I sound like I have a bit of a lisp, that's why. I do apologize. I will have it for a while longer, but maybe I will get used to the list. But hey, we'll see. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate every single one of you that has tuned in today. Please do subscribe if you haven't already. Like I said earlier already, we're on the road to 15,000 subscribers. It's like 1,100, 1,200, whatever it is, left to go. So please do subscribe. Every new subscriber counts. We'd love to get there by the end of the season. We can make that happen, but a lot of you need to subscribe. So yeah, please do smash the like button as well. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea, upwards and onwards, and we'll see you next time. Who's the Ali person? Was he talking to me and just, is that a thing that they call?
No, he was. All he said in chat was Ziyech sucks. That's it, and it just kicked that dude off.
That made my day is so much better now. I've seen that.
See, the thing is, because I watch the chat on StreamYard because there I can highlight the messages, and then I don't see the retracted messages or the when YouTube auto hides them for swear words. You don't see those messages in StreamYard, so I don't even see those.
Yeah, because since I have the mod privileges. Oh, he's did another